Hi, everybody.
Hello, good afternoon all.
Thanks for joining us for another session, and thanks Hannah for joining Commerce Unpacked Cross Border Edition. So our next speaker, Anna Santin, will is coming from AVASK, and she will share some strategies for successful cross border selling. It will be a session with insights into navigating tax compliance and logistics into cross-border selling. So AVASK is a great solution to manage international taxes, custom, and shipping. So they will share a little bit more about how they help like hundreds of ship up merchants launch and grow internationally. Anna, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Phil, for that. I hope everyone is having a fantastic Wednesday, first of all. And as Phil correctly said so, we are here today to speak more about how to successfully expand your business into Europe, into the UK, into Australia. So we're going to be reviewing 5 key steps that you can follow in order to achieve a successful expansion. Just to start with it, my name is Hannah Santin. I am an account manager at AVASK, which is a company that specializes in tax compliance. Let me just share my screen so we can all be on the same page. Perfect. So hopefully everyone can see my my screen right now. The first question that I would like to start with will be, why should you even consider expanding into Europe, into the UK, into Australia? Why is this session worth listening to when we have markets such as, for example, the US? The US is great. There's no denying that it's a fact, but it's a market that is already quite saturated. There's a lot of competition. There is a lot of sellers. And in reality, in my experience, what I have come to realize as well is that even though the US has a lot of buyers, it might not be the best market for our specific products. So here, I think it's key to understand which market or markets are our products going to perform the best. In recent years, and what I have seen, and also from speaking with sellers, what I have realized is that products in the categories of health, beauty, home decor are performing extremely well in the UK, in the EU, and in Australia. So the feedback that I have been receiving from sellers is that some of their products are actually performing better, are having bigger sales in the UK and in the EU to what they're having in the US. So this is a very important piece of information to consider, just to kind of do the research and to understand which market or markets is or our products are going to perform the best. Now, when it comes to the EU specifically, I think the main advantage of launching in the EU is that we are not only entering one country, we're entering 27 countries. So what happens is that when we do the customs clearance in the EU, so when we first introduce our products into the EU, there's going to be an importation process, a customs clearance process, but afterwards, there's free movement of products within the EU countries. So that means that instead of the buyer facing import VAT, import duties, sometimes even facing that the orders are not delivered or are returned, there's free movement of products, so we can avoid these very, very frequent barriers that many of you might already be facing right now. So yeah, as I've said, products are brought into the EU and then they can be easily distributed within the EU countries. Now, specifically about Australia, one of the main advantages I will say is that there is no language barrier. So Australia shares English with the US, with the UK. So from that perspective, very interesting market. Then also very interesting market, very good market for seasonal products. And then I think statistics speak for themselves. You can see on the screen right now some of the statistics. The EU market is worth 899 billion. So with these kind of figures, the question is, as a seller, can you really afford not to sell, not to enter the EU? Now, we have understand the why. Now, we need to understand the steps that we need to follow in order to achieve a successful launch. These are 5 key steps. There's more to this, but we have 15 minutes today. So these are the 5 key considerations that you need to be aware of. The first of them is market performance. And with the market performance also comes understanding what is the best platform for me to use. So in the UK, Amazon is used a lot, Shopify is used a lot, so it's frequently visited by buyers. Might not be the same case in the EU. So understanding the best platform for my products, for my market, is very important. We have defined a product, we have defined the market and the selling platform. Second point, it's partnering. And this is so key, this is so important. Partnering with a reliable 3PL, with a reliable third-party logistics partner, with a reliable freight forwarder, and with a reliable customs broker that will ensure that our products can be moved, can be imported into the UK, the EU, or Australia, and more importantly, that our orders can be fulfilled to the end consumer, that we're not going to be facing any delays or any issues that then can come back to us with bad PR or with bad customer reviews or customer experiences. Third point, again, finding a reliable and a professional tax compliance partner. I think tax is one of the main barriers that sellers face. It's quite daunting. There's a lot of information on the internet. There's a lot of misinformation as well. So just finding the correct partner that is going to be able to explain things easily in a clear way, and that is just going to make our lives easier, it's very, very important. In the fourth step, we have EPR compliance, and this is exclusively for the EU. So when we're talking about EPR compliance, without going too much into it, we are talking about eco legislation. So everything related to waste management and to the recycling of the products. It's currently compulsory in Germany, in France, in Austria, and in Spain. So this is another piece that we need to look into. And finally, number 5, the final piece of the puzzle will be what it's called responsible person, which basically it's a local authorized representative, a local representative that is going to ensure that our products and our labels are compliant with the local legislations. Many of you might already be selling from the US, might already be dispatching orders from the US, and might be wondering, I have never looked into this, I have never had troubles with customs. And the reality is that the customs authorities do not have the time to look into every single shipment individually. So some orders are going to go through smoothly. However, what we want to avoid is being unlucky enough that our shipment is inspected by the customs authorities, and then either the products can be destroyed or the shipment can be returned to the country of origin. So obviously this will entail supply chain disruption. This will entail orders not being fulfilled, dispatched, and therefore very, very unhappy buyers. So basically, this is just to ensure that we are looking into everything and that we can avoid as much as possible any problems with the different parties that are involved as a part of the expansion. Now, I think going through examples, it's always easier and make things a lot clearer. At least that's how I feel. So I wanted to share with you a success story of one of my sellers. So I directly helped them set up in the EU. This is Iraye. So Iraye is a Swiss company that sells skincare. Now, what is very important for you to understand is that even though Switzerland is part of Europe, it is not part of the EU, which means that every time Iraye was dispatching orders into the EU, the buyer was facing import VAT, import duties. Some orders couldn't be dispatched. So it wasn't ideal. They were looking for a solution. So basically, what we achieved was set up in the Netherlands with a 3PL partner in order to start dispatching orders from here across the EU countries and to avoid these kind of barriers. Now, what needed to be done? Well, first of all, finding a reliable 3PL such as ShipBob and starting the partnership with them. So that was the first step. Second step, we needed to look into the VAT implications. So what we did was set up a VAT in the Netherlands and also set up an OSS. An OSS is basically a single number, a single registration that allows sellers to distribute and to dispatch orders across the EU. So it's basically for B2C cross-border transaction report. Third step was EPR compliance. And then the fourth step was also looking into the customs clearance process. So as I've said, even though Iraye is a Swiss company, because they're not part of the EU, they needed to import their products into the EU. And for this, they needed to appoint what is called an indirect representative for the customs clearance, customs brokerage phase or the process. Now, as an example, what happens is that when a customer, let's say in France, buys one of the products of Iraye, the products are stored in the Netherlands, so they're dispatched from here to the end consumer. Instead of having several days or even delays with the fulfillment, it's only 2 to 3 days for the fulfillment. And the main gain for the consumer is that they don't have to face additional charges for import VAT and import duty. So the product just becomes a lot more attractive to buy. So just going over this, just to summarize, what were the gains for Iraye in this case? First of all, shorter fulfillment timeframes. Second of all, no additional payments for the buyer, so no import VAT and no import duties. And third of all, just developing the brand awareness within the EU, building a stronger customer relationship as well. What was the main gain of Iraye is that their EU sales grew by 30%. And to be completely honest with you, this was not a long time ago. So this is just the short-term result that we have seen. There's still more to see. So quite excited about Iraye and what the future can bring. But yeah, this is just a short success story for you to understand how can expanding into the EU, into the UK, storing locally as well in Australia can help you and can have significant impact on your business. We only have 15 minutes. I would like to leave some time at the end of the session just for a quick Q&A. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. You can scan this QR code and basically leave an inquiry with us so we can connect later and we can look into your business setup and into your business strategy. better and just kind of review everything in more detail, review any kind of questions, make sure to mention ShipBob, because we're going to be offering an exclusive discount to all attendees that joined today. So make sure to leave ShipBob on your inquiry. You can also reach out to me directly via LinkedIn. You can find me as Hannah Santin. So more than happy to connect with you as well. But yeah, that's everything for today. We're going to go into the Q&A session. And once again, thank you very much all for your time.
Thank you so much, and I think we're over time, and we might
Let's just go into the Q&A.
There's a question, if you have time to pick it up, from Christina.
Let's see some questions.
Summarize what fees they would cover in that case.
Sorry, Philip. The connection broke a little bit, and I couldn't hear you completely.
I think your colleague Laura, I think, replied already. So to Christina, that's great.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm just looking into the questions as well. Looking into this, I think one of the main questions I tend to get when I'm connecting with e-sellers is, do I need to incorporate a new company to start selling, to start storing in the EU and in the UK? The answer is no. Basically, what we'll need to do is just ensure that your business, either that being an Australian business, US business, or South African business, so whenever the business is set up, we just need to ensure that you're registered for VAT in all the countries where you're looking to hold stock. So that is the main take from today. Understanding that you can easily expand is just a matter of taking in consideration that VAT registration will be necessary in all the countries where you're looking to hold stock. I'm just going to Matt's comment. In the Iraya example, Iraya has a VAT OSS setup. Now a consumer can, perfect. Does Iraya needs a French VAT? VAT for every country that the customer places the order. So in this case, they do not. So basically, what Iraya needed was the VAT only in the country where they were looking to store products, which was the Netherlands in this case, because they were partnering with a 3PL. And then what was very important and what we needed to do for them is register an OSS, or a one-stop shop number. Now, this number allows sellers to have one country as their EU hub, and from here, dispatch orders to other countries within the EU. We have another question from Lynn James. Can you provide insights into the key strategies and tactics for successful cross-border selling that AVASK recommends to businesses looking to expand internationally? Yeah, I mean, I think we already went over some important considerations. I think partnering with a reliable 3PL, with a reliable tax agent, it's very important, because it's going to make our lives as seller a lot easier. So I think this specific point, it's key, just to ensure that yourself as seller can basically look into the core business, into introducing more products, but you don't have to worry about the tax implications. You don't have to worry about the communication with the tax authorities.
All right, thank you so much. We'll jump to the next session. Awesome, Anna, great job.
No, thank you, Philip. And as I've said, I'm looking forward to connecting with the sellers later. So just please reach out to me so we can have more time to connect personally, and we can then also discuss how can we assist you. Perfect. Well, have a lovely afternoon, everyone. Thank you again, ShipBob, for the time. See you later.